Hello, family. Welcome back. It's Luna, and I want to make a pretty big, bold statement today and say that every single thing in your physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, every area of your life is a reflection of your true inner self and needs. That being said, everything that you're experiencing is pretty much just showing up a mirror to you and giving you exactly what you need to further integrate yourself. With that being said, I want to add on and say this entire video is about you could call it a metaphor that we use in our daily life, if not everyday life. If you've ever been in the spiritual community or therapy, self-help groups, healing, any of that, you've heard of shadow work, most likely. You've heard of darkness versus light, and you've also most likely heard God, source, universe being described as a universal white light. Take a moment to ask yourself why you think this is. Pause if you need. I really do ask that you just take a moment. If you know everything's a metaphor in life, reflecting back to you, why do you think this is? If you guessed, if not, let me explain. There is something really funny about if you see consciousness source from its highest perspective. We can even think about it through another metaphor of the bird's eye view. You are no longer confined to a smaller view. You can see a lot more in a lot more detail. So, in this white light, it's broken into how many different colors, right? We only know so many in the human eye spectrum, but in the universe of colors, this makes the beautiful oneness of one color, right? All happening at once. We metaphorically, and therefore because of the vibration, it projects a vision that we are able to perceive and therefore manifests as oneness of light, because light itself is made up of color, and color is made up of vibration, which is sound, which is also coincides with numbers. It's all the same. Now, on the other side of that spectrum, if you're looking through at a lower conscious, we talked about this before on our channel, just recently actually, of when you're breaking into lower conscious levels, it is still true that you're experiencing, I shouldn't say separation, but you're seeing the differentiation between red and blue. Like, it is not false to say that red and blue are different, right? They show up two completely different ways. But in the higher perspective, they are one and making up one collective thing, right? We could call that white. But because of our lower perspective, we actually are projecting out our separation, right? Because of our disresonance and actually distorted perception, I should say, due to our low negative vibration, we encounter the problem that we start to see darkness and that lack of light or oneness as something that is bad, and we actually feed into the idea and belief that we are further alone when we tap into it, right? So, if we wanted to fully come here to integrate our being, right, which we did, and to fully integrate both the dark and the light, that means we have to be willing to accept the darkness for where it stands. We are not meant to change it, but rather in the energy transmutation, it becomes and serves a new purpose. Darkness does not have to be scary if we can view it the right way. So, in the idea of life being a metaphor and darkness being everything that is unconscious in our shadow work, which it is, it's that disassociation, the separateness manifesting itself further into something that you can see, right? It's showing you what is not being looked at, what's not getting attention, right? You could think about shining a light on things quite literally with a flashlight. When things have light on them, you can see it all. For example, highest consciousness, it's all light. In the lower consciousness, because of the way we perceive, we don't see the light. This does not mean the light is not there. Let me say that. With that, let me reiterate, the light is always there. It is just your ability to perceive the light in the lower conscious dimensions. Darkness has light. It is just something undiscovered. And the reason we come here is to further view, observe, and unconditionally, non-judgmentally love on every bit of expression that we are. And through just doing that, we transmute the energy within ourselves, the being of source, right? And the things that are presented back to us, right, will show more harmony and resonance. We can think about plants. We're staring at plants right in front of us. When plants are in the needed environment, getting the needed love, attention, light, all of its needed things, it's thriving. But if you were to speak badly to it, right, speak negative things, what would happen? We all know what would happen. It would slowly start to wither away. You forget to take care of it. And what is that? It's a manifestation of our inner world, of feeling a lack within ourselves, not being taken care of, or perhaps feeling like everything you do goes to waste. Or this can be in so many different ways, but remember, just because pink exists, let's say, does not mean blue is not just as much valid and existing just alongside it. So, with that said, in these lower worlds, I really believe that in the separation, if we are able to get away from the fact that it may appear separate and actually change the viewpoint to a higher one, instead of seeing it from the 3D perspective of we are separate, you can rather see there is an expression of individuality of one being. It's like within you. You know how many personalities you have within yourself? But you can never pick just one because not just one is you. They're all individual expressions of how your inner world feels. Just like in the bigger source pot of universe. There's so much that it has to express and to allow itself to learn through itself. It's like doing things in front of a mirror constantly to try and understand itself more, to try and evolve itself to the point of sorry about the interruption there. As I was saying, there is a deep importance in integrating the different parts of ourselves that are very just as much valid as they are to be one. They are all different and yet one, and there's a beauty in that. But to really integrate them is to understand why they exist. Why does green exist? Why does love exist? Why does our physical belongings exist in the way that they do? These are questions to ask yourself, and I do very much request of you today to do a little game or trial for yourself. And throughout your day, if you're experiencing random times, whether you have boredom, free time, or perhaps an issue, I want you to look around you, or you can do this within as well, whether it be a problem, a person, a situation, something that's good even. What is it reflecting back to you? Now, an example for this would be, let's say I have a lot of clothes, right? Let's say I have that. And I notice this and I'm like, okay, well, what is this reflecting back to me? Now, there could be many, many different possible things that it's reflecting back to me, but to focus on one at a time, because we are at such a low dense energy, one at a time. That doesn't mean the others don't exist, but one at a time. And so I may find that it's pointing to a deep-rooted cause of feeling a lack of survival, let's say, or perhaps I feel a need to cover up and or present myself because of a lack of confidence. And then I have to figure out, what is that lack of confidence coming from, that I have to make up for that in my physical world? How can I give that to myself spiritually so I no longer have to do that and drive myself to extremes? And pretty much, I almost imagine it like a tornado of energy, like you're just pulling in energy when you're in a lack state, right? But if you're in an abundant source state, you're always just constantly giving, and it's like you're transmuting the energy around you. It's like you're not even the generator anymore, but you're just constantly living in a state of like a tree. A tree is constantly just intaking the bad stuff and out goes the new. It's kind of like that, and source just provides all the rest. It's like we got it covered. So throughout your day, do something like that. Look around you, maybe at a person. Let's say you have a sibling, right? This sibling bullies you a lot. What is this sibling actually reflecting back to you about yourself? Now, this could actually be, let's say, you have a deep rooted jealousy with your sibling, right? And so that energetic response is still there, regardless of if you consciously make actions in that direction of that negative vibration. And so your sibling feels that energy response and reflects back to you in a mirror the viewing of dissatisfaction in a relationship. There is a disresonance in that relationship, right? In this, your sibling understands on the spiritual level that there is an incompatibility where you both stand. And so they fight back in a way that is in response to. So jealousy comes from that lack, right? And so they feel defensive as maybe you pulled away or get too extreme, whatever that is in one direction, they're going to give you the opposite, opposing to almost reflect back the same, if that makes sense. So, whether it be people, situations, friends, ask yourself and really unjudgmentally, what are they reflecting back? And be honest with yourself. There's no reason to lie to yourself at this point. It's just you. Even them are just you. So there's no need to be ashamed. I really want you to understand there's no need to be ashamed. We're allowed to be hurt and we're allowed to feel that shame. We're allowed to experience that. But understand even that is reflecting back something so much deeper. The emotions are just reflecting back deeper understanding. And once you do that, you can just transmute because you've come into understanding. You've shown light on what was not previously known. And you brought that into the light. You brought that into consciousness. And therefore, you have transmuted the energy of unconsciousness back into conscious. You have served the purpose, leveled up, and integrated and served the purpose of whatever that was. So, with that, I do ask that you really do try those exercises of asking yourself throughout the day, whether it's an illness, even a body part, how is this actually serving me? Your heart, it keeps you alive, it's vital. How is that metaphorically serving its purpose? How are your bones metaphorically serving a purpose? I'll give you a hint for the bones one. They keep you structured, right? That's why the bones are associated with the first chakra. In metaphorical understanding, if you can think of everything as a metaphor, like you're feeling like a cold mountain, what in metaphors would that mean? You're feeling distant. If you really want to go to a warm lake, you're probably really craving warmth and affection, right? We associate certain metaphors with certain spiritual needs, and then therefore emotional and physical and mental, etc., etc. So, I think I gave it to all that I could say for this topic for today. Do try and be patient. Take your time with yourself. It's okay, whatever comes up. I love you all. Have an amazing day. And if you're looking for anything in specific, please do comment below. I would love to hear any topics you would love for me to further talk on. You all enjoy your day or night whenever you're watching this. I love you.